Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Talk Local to Me. I'm Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition, and I do not have my co-host Mike Norfield with me today. He is out and about and doing actual things for his business, so we will miss him. And allegedly, my alleged co-host. Yeah, we have to keep throwing that in there.
Allegedly.
So, Woody, I just realized when you were doing our intro that we might have to change it.
Yeah, I
did you catch it? Because it's like, coming live from Watts Creative Studios, right? But we're at the Media Squatch Studios.
It's time for an update.
I just realized that needed to be changed. And it's funny, I haven't paid attention to that for the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
I've just been, sitting here jamming to the intro, not really paying attention to the words. But today I actually put my listening ears on.
I will
and heard it.
That.
So lots of big things coming for Media Squatch, though. I'm seeing new.
It's a ton. It's our busy
new
season.
Streaming.
Yes, it's a ton of stuff happening right now. I feel like it's been a year, and it's only April. If that makes sense. I feel like it's always been like.
I can't believe it's already April.
I know.
So if that makes, I feel like this first quarter of 2024 has flown by.
Yeah.
I feel like we were just doing. I saw the other day, somebody was talking about Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh yeah, that was just like last week. And I was like, no, that was almost 2 months ago. Like, it's crazy how quickly the year is already going. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you are, a listener that is just, maybe this is your first time tuning in to Talk Local to Me, and you like what you hear, we'd love for you to subscribe and, push the notification button so that you get notifications weekly on, the content that we're bringing. And I like to, I haven't talked about this in a while and I thought I'd share it real quickly, but, Talk Local to Me is exactly what it sounds like. We're talking with our local business owners and talking about local events and local things in our area. And so we're trying to kind of keep you updated on, things that you can participate in and businesses that you can support. So the Central Virginia Business Coalition is an organization that supports small business and the growth. And, this is just part of being able to do that, is letting people know what's out there for them. I think a lot of people don't understand how many wonderful small businesses we have in our area that can do just as well, if not better, than some of your larger corporations that you're, spending more money and, this helps you invest in your local economy. So throwing that out there, but make sure you are, finding us wherever you are listening to your podcasts and making sure that you're tuning in each week, because there's always something new and something different. We are not a cookie cutter podcast. You're not going to hear the same thing every week. And we're excited about that. So, real quickly, just coming up for our CVABC community, we are hosting a putt-putt tournament at the end of April. Really excited. Listen to the rain. Can y'all hear that rain?
It's crazy.
Like, I don't know if our listeners can hear, but it is pouring.
Put me to sleep.
Yeah,
very relaxed.
See, it needs to be done because I just got my hair did yesterday.
Me too.
And I'm trying not to get it wet. But your hair looks great, Mark. So back to we're hosting a putt-putt tournament at the end of this month. And the great thing about this is we are raising money for education at the same time, just having fun. Putt-putt, so if you're listening, this is open to, doesn't have to just be a CVABC member. You can just be out there saying, hey, I want to go play putt-putt. I love putt-putt and I want to give back. You can sign up to have a team of 2 or a team of 4. Those teams can be you and your staff, you and your family, you and your kiddos. It's from 3 to 8 o'clock at the Putt-Putt in Lynchburg. Just come on out and play and have a really good time, and know that you are helping, giving back to, the trade fields. That's what we do the scholarship for, someone going into the trades. And you can go to our website, cvabc.org, and sign up for that. And if you're a local business listening in that thinks, you would potentially like to be a hole sponsor, we put signs up on every hole that Putt-Putt has, and they keep them up for 2 weeks. It's $100. It's a great opportunity to get your business name out there. Let us know. You can always contact us again through our website, cvabc.org. But that's kind of our biggest thing going on here in April. Lots of things coming up through, the second half of the year, women's event, moving into those, and we'll give you all those details in a another episode. I'm trying to think of the word I'm trying to use. I'm dying over here.
You're in Disney mode.
I am in Disney mode.
Yeah.
I am
It's
heading out,
okay.
going to Florida Sunday through Wednesday of next week, taking a little break because I need it. And so next Wednesday I will not be here, and you'll just have Mike, so the alleged co-host. But we are joined in the studio today. I have Marco Galbraith with T4 Tactics, and I am really happy to see Marco. I haven't seen you in, I feel like forever, but you're always on the go. You're always out busy and training and, making people aware of, so many different things that are for our safety. And I think about you a lot when I see things on the news, and I always think, I wonder what Marco would think about this situation. So wanted to kind of just start off talking about T4 Tactics. What is it? What do you, what do you do? And then we'll kind of dive into more of the specifics of each thing.
Okay. So we're located at the Business Development Center on Millridge Road. And I do firearm safety classes, concealed permit. I focus on creating safe, responsible, legal gun owners.
Mm-hmm.
So the classes are geared for people that have never fired a gun before or people that have a lot of experience. We take our time and go through it, but we want to create safe, legal, responsible, reasonable gun owners and people that are carrying concealed. So that's the focus of the class. We do the Utah multi-state permit, which is very popular right now. And I try to run those classes on Saturdays. Usually during the week, I'm gone out of state with shooter training. So I try to run those every Saturday as long as I'm in town. And then, of course, I do active shooter response training for businesses, churches, schools, any type of facility. That presentation, the training and the facility review, policy review, de-escalation techniques, we go in pretty deep. It's not based on fear or paranoia, but it's just giving people the education, confidence, and skill to recognize something's getting ready to happen, shut it down, whether it's a disgruntled employee or a customer that's been treated wrong or they think they've been treated wrong. So we identify that. The best way to prevent an attack is not have one happen in the first place.
Right.
And then, of course, we're going to go into the mitigation part of it is what happens if we do have an attack. How's the building going to work for us and not against us? We want our buildings to be secure, but we don't want them to look like prisons.
Right.
It's got to have that welcoming environment.
Well, and I'm just going to, preface the rest of our conversation for our listeners that, regardless of how you feel on gun ownership or your political views, because we're not here to push any agenda or anything like that before people get all up in their, up in feelings, because I know that can happen.
Right.
I feel like people should be aware of what their options are regardless. I think that's the great thing about our country is that you have options and you have the opportunity to do something, that you want to do based on your own beliefs and your own religion and everything else. So I just wanted, just to kind of throw that out there, before I start, people get comments. But I think what you offer, though, for those that need it or want it or, is something that you can't really get through a lot of other places. Like Marco is great at what he does. So I want to kind of throw that out there.
Yeah. And I completely understand. I started doing about 5 years ago, we started doing pepper spray classes because guns aren't for everybody. But I think everybody should have the means to protect themselves, whether it's stun gun, pepper spray, whatever. But there's a lot of reasons that, and I understand it. If people don't like guns, I completely respect that 100%. There's upbringing. I've had some women come to me for self-defense classes where they've been on the bad end of a gun and something horrible has happened to them. They don't like guns.
Right.
I respond when there's an active shooter attack. I respond out to the scene to gain information. I'm on a victim crisis response team that will go out and support victims, law enforcement at the scene. Virginia has open carry where you can just carry your gun out in the open. One thing that really was grinding my gears is I'm at the Chesapeake Walmart shooting that occurred a couple years ago. We're in the parking lot. It's only hours old. Where 6 people were killed, and we've got a makeshift memorial set up in the parking lot. And there's victims that are family members that are there that have just had their loved ones killed inside. And here comes 2 guys with open carry. They don't want to see those guns right now.
Right.
That's not the time. So I fully respect that there are different reasons why people don't like firearms. I get it. If you don't like it, it's not for you. That's fine. I completely respect that.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, it's also about, like we were talking about, we're going to get more into like the situational awareness. A lot of it is just being, just knowledge.
Right.
It's knowing
is.
what, your options are,
Yeah.
and, then allowing you to use it. Because a lot of times, I think people who, there are some people that own guns
Yeah.
that don't know the proper way to utilize
There's a lot
them.
of people that are in that situation.
And I think that's a lot. Knowledge is key
Right.
when it comes to a lot of things.
Right.
And, I feel like that's something that you do very well is giving people the knowledge
Yeah.
to how to do different things. So,
And active shooter response training is not about guns. Not at all. I just had a local pastor call me a couple weeks ago and said, how do we set up our church security team, safety team?
mm-hmm.
Because we don't have any big guys and we don't have any people that carry guns. It's not about that. It's the little old lady in the wheelchair can be on the church safety team because that's eyes and ears.
Right.
We want eyes and ears. It's welcoming, but active shooter response training, there is a very small element, if chosen, where firearms can be a part of active shooter response training. But the 95% of my approach is not firearms. It's prevention and response.
Okay, so let's talk more about the active shooter. Let's go into that
Yeah.
first. The active shooter response training, and it's I feel like it's sad that I feel like we're having to do more
I
and
know.
more of that these days. So what does that kind of entail if a business, or like you said, I know a lot of churches are
Mhm.
starting to do those.
So a lot. Once I get on board with a business, we'll have a couple of conference calls where I get to know their business. I'll research their business website, demographics, where they're at. And then we'll go out and do a facility review. I just did one locally here this morning, but we'll do a facility review and we're looking at everything in that building. How do we make it more secure without making it look like a prison?
Right.
We want it welcoming. How do we make it more secure? Little things we can do. We can put a camera here. We can clear bushes back from this door. We can make different access points. We can do what we want to do is let the bad guy look at the building and say, okay, they've got security in mind, so that's probably not a place to attack. And then heaven forbid if something does happen, we've got to make that building work for us and not against us.
Mm-hmm.
So areas of refuge, things like that.
I hadn't even thought about like you just said, making sure bushes are cut back or like
Right.
there's visibility
Right.
leading up to it. That's something I would never have thought about.
One of the things that I find it's a common mistake is just about every single HR office or manager has their desk set up to where they're disciplining and firing people and they're locked in. So the desk is set up to where
My
the
desk
person,
isn't like that.
yeah, the person that's getting fired, terminated, or disciplined is in between the HR director and the door. That's a no-no. We want the people that are getting ready to get terminated or fired. If they want to leave, we're going to let them leave. But we, as HR directors, we never want to be blocked in where they stand up and shut the door and say, "Now you're not leaving," because now we got a problem. So we have to rearrange. It's little things like that where we want furniture and other things to work for us and not against us.
I may need to have you come look at because I'm in like this little cubby hole and like I'm exactly like
Yeah.
that. Like I would, shut my door. And
It's not a bad
just
thing
us.
though. It's not a bad thing though. If you're not disciplining people, it's not bad. But a lot of HR, professionals will bring people in their office to terminate
Right.
them. And
Absolutely.
so if it's not bad things going on in your office, that's not a big deal. And then after the facility review, we'll come in and do about a 3-hour presentation with everybody. I purposely don't charge per head because there's a lot of companies that are doing what I'm doing and they charge per head. Well, that's where the CEOs and the CFOs start saying, you know what, we don't need the third floor to do this. They don't need it. Well, let's get everybody changed. So it's not per head.
Yeah.
It's just one all-inclusive cost. But we want to train everybody. And in that 3-hour presentation, we go over threat assessment team. Why is that important? We go over prevention, situational awareness, de-escalation techniques. That's huge. We don't want somebody coming in our business and getting mad because of a failure of customer service or whatever they're mad. We don't want them leaving mad, go out in the parking lot, get something, come back in.
Yeah.
Or we don't want them leaving mad, going home, and now they're going to stew on it for a while. Now we've got the developmental stages of an active shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's customer service. I was a hostage negotiator most of my career, and that's getting into somebody's head to calm them down and get them on our side so they don't leave mad.
Yeah.
We have to help them. We lack in customer service and communication in this country.
We definitely do. And I think de-escalation, I mean, I've even had to deal with that to some degree when you have, working with different businesses and
Yeah.
clients. And, a lot of times people feel like they should, if they're supposed to be getting a certain service
Right.
and maybe they're not getting it or not getting what their expectations of that service were.
Right.
And you have them come in and sometimes they just come in ready for a fight. They're ready to go. And that's what they want to hear. So having the knowledge and the skill set to do that, to de-escalate that situation or try and just calm them down and get them speaking clearly, thinking clearly. Because sometimes you're not thinking clearly when you're mad.
Yeah, give them respect. Our primary emotion is anger. And when we go to that primary emotion, and we talk about this in the training, is different levels of anger and how we talk about human violence and non-violence. But our primary emotion is anger, and that blocks the secondary emotion, which is calm. So the first thing when we feel like we're wronged, we want to go to anger, get angry.
Right.
We gotta get that customer, that client, to slow them down a little bit. Let them vent. If they're not throwing punches, who cares if they yell and scream and call me names? I don't care.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But I'm going to give them the respect they deserve, listen to their problem, and fix it. And there's this we go over in the de-escalation training. It's about an hour conversation of what we do, body language, voice tone, what we do and what we don't do. We can win people over by what we do and what we don't do. Purposeful walks and talks.
Do you also talk to people about, so one of the things I find is people look at movies. They watch movies and movies just, they inflate what happens and they make it all, just crazy situations. So like, I feel like in every movie where you see potentially whether it may not even be somebody with a gun or a knife or some sort of weapon, and they're coming in and someone's trying to de-escalate. You always have this other person that like doesn't wait for the de-escalation to happen. They jump in and they do something stupid and cause a big blow up.
Right.
Do you teach people how to like not be that person?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not be the person that screws up the whole situation?
If we have to go hands-on, you're going to have to. But the last thing we want to do is we don't want an employee to go hands-on. We want to keep it verbal, start calming them down. And again, my de-escalation class or portion of the active shooter training, it's hostage negotiation 101. It's you can calm somebody down. Unless there's drugs, stimulants involved, you're going to be able to de-escalate somebody or verbal judo them without going hands-on. More than likely, within about 7 to 12 minutes, you'll be able to talk to them. Next thing you know, they're on your side.
I absolutely verbal judo. I'm using that from now on. I'm going to verbal judo the heck out of people.
That's right. You don't have to touch them. It's all verbal judo. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. I love it. So now if a business or a church or, wants to have this done, they just contact you and get it set up?
I'm a one-man show, and I purposely have it that way because I know what's being said, who's saying it. And I'll talk to the client directly, and they can just go to my T4Tactics website, do the contact us page, and I'll get them a proposal out right then and there.
Now, you also will do, and I say this because I know you have come to some of our events before.
Yeah.
For businesses that have larger events that you're open, it's open and people can just come in and you will actually sit down and talk with businesses about that and how they can make events like that safer for the community coming out as well.
We always have to think about the who, what, why, where, when, and how. And if let's say you're a business and you're going to have a company picnic, that's the who, what, why, where, when, and how. We've got a lot of people now that are confined to one area. It's mostly the whole company. It's probably going to be upper management. So we've got to really think outside the box. A lot of churches, when I go train them, they'll say, we got Sunday service covered. And then when I ask them, well, what about Awana's Vacation Bible School, Wednesday night Bible study, Thursday night choir practice, I get a blank look. They haven't thought outside the box.
Yeah.
So we always have to think, we got to think like a bad guy. If I was going to be an active shooter, when's the best place to attack this particular location? Now we got to fix the problem.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I think a couple years ago, they had the instance in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit prior to our band event that we have here. And I remember you were like, hey, can I come set up? And that way I was like, absolutely. It's, it's great to have somebody there that is able to kind of read the room, so to speak.
And that's what it is. Situational awareness is bad guys they don't know they're doing it, but bad guys will send out pre-attack indicators. And so you have to know how to read those. We've got a class the 11th from 6 to 8 at my office, and it's situation awareness, street survival. So it's a lot about how to survive on a college campus. It's a lot of young ladies take that class. I have a lot of guys, older people take it too, but it's popular with the younger ladies, but because it's teaching how to stay out of a problem. Pre-attack indicators, threshold stimulus. If this guy does this, as this guy's walking up to me, if he does this, I'm going to do this. So you're staying one step ahead of what you think is a threat all the time. We don't want to live in fear.
That's what I was just going to say. And it's not to make you feel fearful of every person that walks past you or in the room, but it does give you tips and ideas of things to monitor and to look at.
Yeah.
So that
I do it. I practice it all the time, and I'm not a nervous person.
Yeah.
I'm not nervous. But you have to, when you go out to eat, you got to look at where you're eating, look at anybody that gives you concern, and then sit down and enjoy your meal. And
speaking of that, you said something years ago in front of my husband about never taking the seat with the back to the door.
Right.
So that you can't see coming in. And to this day, he remembers that. And when we sit down, he constantly will take the seat facing the door so he can see who is coming in.
Yeah.
Because he feels like, as a man, I guess he feels like he wants to be that person that can see it and protect everyone. But he tells people that all the time, and he attributes it. He's like, Marco told me this years ago.
Yeah.
And he has always kind of taken that.
Yeah. Good.
And ran with it since then.
Yeah. I'm careful in all of my classes. I don't like to say things. I don't say things for shock value because that's not what it's about. We don't want to get people fearful. I just want to deliver to people the skill, education, confidence, knowledge to identify something and shut it down. And then if something happens, okay, I'm properly trained to handle this attack.
Right.
And go back to your training. We don't want to go to panic. We want to go back to how was I trained? How am I supposed to breathe? How am I supposed to control my heart rate? I've got to get through this and think. Because panic is where the bad guy wins.
Yeah. So we've talked about, active shooter training, and then also you do self-defense, but you were telling me a little bit before we got on the air. You have another program that y'all are.
Yeah, we're doing the de-escalation techniques is very popular with businesses right now. And then we do reunification for businesses that have had something horrible happen.
Okay.
A lot of businesses they think about, we got insurance, we got time off, but how are we going to get employees back into the business after something horrible has happened?
Yeah.
And so I've been doing a lot of that lately. We've got a lot of violence in the world, but I'll go out and I'll sit down with the group of folks that were in the room when that happened. Let's say a robbery at a convenience store, the last one I did where the clerk was shot. And we're going to talk to people. What did you do? What did you not do? This is the time where they say, I did a bank in out of state, and the woman buzzed the guy into the bank. Well, he had a backpack and it went bad. And she felt like it was her fault. It's not her fault. That's her job to buzz people in. So we go in and we set people at ease and say, no matter what you did during this situation, you did the right thing. It's okay. So it's a part of the healing. And then we're going to talk about how do we fix this so it doesn't happen again. And then I meet with the employees one-on-one, and I tell management when I come in, I want to meet with the employees one-on-one, and I want them to tell me what the company could have done to prevent this or how we can prevent it.
Right.
And then I don't tell management who told me what. I tell them what was said, but not who said it.
Okay.
Because we've got to open up that communication.
Well, and I think that's important too, because then if your staff or even yourself, if it's just you, like you're saying, a convenience store, if you don't feel comfortable going back in, that potentially affects the business.
Right.
But I also think it leaves you scared to go anywhere, I would think.
Well, and what we want to do, the reason why we do this reunification for businesses is, yes, we want to get the business up and running, but there are people that if they, like, I need structure. Yeah, you need structure.
Yes.
We both have busy schedules. We need structure. If I was an individual that was involved in something horrible, I want to get right back to work. So we have to give the employees the option. Do I want to come right back to work, or do I want to take 6 months off, or do I not want to come back at all?
Right.
But when we don't get up and running right away, we've got people sitting at home that are getting depressed. There's now substance abuse that's setting in, and there could be suicidal tendencies.
Right.
So those folks that want to come back, we're up and running. We got to redo this room We want to repaint. We want to recarpet, get new furniture. We don't want those victims coming back in and seeing the exact same room that they just saw.
Yeah.
So a lot we need to do for reunification, get back up and running.
I know that was one of the things we had 3 years ago, I think. We had one of the teachers from Sandy Hook come and speak at our Empower Women's event. And that was one of the things that she was talking about was, having to go back into that classroom and go back in there. I mean, I couldn't even imagine how that felt or, to walk back into the room and just the flashbacks from everything
we got to completely change it around, move the chalkboard or whatever should be moved to the other wall, new furniture, everything. We don't want those people coming in and seeing that same room because that's not healing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so for anyone who's listening that may want to hire, have you come in and check out their business or their church or nonprofit. I know you work with nonprofits as well. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Just go to my website, T4Tactics. So it's the letter T, the number 4 tactics, T4Tactics.com. They can look at the information there. There's a FAQ page, and then they can go to the contact us page. It'll go directly to me, nobody else. They'll be talking directly to me, and I usually get back with them within a few hours. If I'm teaching, it may take a little bit longer, but I will definitely get back to them that day.
Okay. So I'm going to channel my inner Mike, because he's not here, and ask you. We ask every guest on the show 2 questions. And the first one being, how long have you been a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
Wow. 10 years?
It's been a long time. So you were there prior when we were the Lynchburg Retail Merchants Association.
Yeah.
So you've been around with us for a long time.
Right.
And what do you see as the the best benefit? Like, what do you get out of being, a member?
It's the personal touch.
That's right. He's not gonna No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know what to say.
No, you got it.
Tell me what to say.
You got it.
No, it's the personal touch. I've been in other networking groups, one really big here, and I didn't get anything out of it. It just didn't work. But you guys do a lot of events. Heather, you put your heart and soul into it. And I don't see that in other organizations. I travel all over the country doing these trainings, and I see different business groups. I do a lot of stuff for chambers, and I don't see that personal touch. So it's the personal touch. It's all the coffee talks. And I've tried to come to the.
I know it's so funny. You're always like, darn it, I want to come.
I'm always gone. I'm always out of town. But but you have something. You got an open house tomorrow, right? Do
I? I hope not.
It's maybe not. Maybe
I have a ribbon cutting Friday. We have a ribbon cutting at JD's Cafe.
Open house at Harmony. Well, maybe
okay. Yeah, we're Harmony Day Support is having their open house tomorrow. We're just kind of tagged on to that as supporting, but they are having one.
The emails you send out, we got to support small business. I could care less about big corporate money, but when we do small business in this town, that money I can turn around and help support a softball or a kickball league or or whatever it is, whatever's going on local. That money stays local, and I like that small business support because it's hard to get, and advertising is very expensive.
It is.
And does it work? We don't know if it works. I don't know if it works or not.
Yeah, and there's so many different levels, and that's why one of the things that we do with the partnering with our local media to give some free or discounted advertising. It brings a little bit of value because you're able to try it, see if you get anything from it, or see what works best for you. And
the billboard,
and it really helps. Yeah, the billboards are really great. Yeah. We love being able to provide those to our members. So Southeastern does great, and but yeah, so thank you. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. For those of you who have listened in and would like some more information, reach out to Marco. Like I said, he does a great job walking you through, what your needs may be. And, definitely suggest if you're kind of in this situation, want to learn more, to reach out to him and give him, let him talk to you or have a one-on-one.
Not about fear or paranoia. It's education.
Yes, education. What is it? Knowledge is power.
That's right.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We are going to go to a quick commercial and we will be right back.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's choice in home care.
So in a small way, I brought Mike with me today.
Mike's here.
He's there
always
through
here.
his Visiting Angels commercial. I need to record one before next week because I won't be on next week's episode. So I need to record one so that I can be present
Yes.
and he can hear the fabulous commercial.
That's right.
So anyway, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you guys learned some information that is valuable that you can take with you from Marco and hopefully utilize that. But we are back, and I have my second guest here in the studio with me. Ron, how are you?
I'm lovely, a little wet, but doing
Yeah, I felt bad when it was getting closer for for you to get here, and it was just, you could hear it pouring. Although sometimes I don't know if it's raining as hard as it sounds like it's raining. It is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because sometimes you'll think it's raining really hard and you go out there and it's just really sprinkling and it's not doing as much. But I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to be coming in like the pouring deluge of rain. And he's going to like walk in and look at me like, what? Like a drowned rat.
Well, you didn't cause the rain.
Or like a wet puppy dog.
There you go.
Which is a great
Right,
segue.
like a wet dog now.
Wet dog. So it's a great segue into
Well
Ron.
done,
Yes. So Ron is with Dog Days Pet Services, and we're going to learn more about, what he does. So if you've got, a dog out there or a puppy, you're going to want to listen in and learn more about what Ron can do to help you in, training and behavioral issues with your pups. So to start off, tell us, kind of a quick overview of Dog Days, and we'll get more into the different services you provide.
Okay. Dog training, puppy training, behavioral issues, like you said. I work with a lot of those as well. A lot of shelter dogs, as far as that's concerned. Just getting them into a better headspace so that they are living a better life, calmer, less anxiety and fear, which is most of aggression situations, is anxiety and fear.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the training, I try to help people understand dog language so that you can have better communication skills back and forth between you and the dog, and a better relationship overall, and less frustration and fighting with the dog for being stubborn when they're usually just very, very smart and want
Right.
to think on their own and make their own decisions within reason. We allow that sort of thing and let the dogs live their best lives as well.
I think that is one of the things, like, it's kind of like that communication barrier. You get frustrated
Sure.
with your dog because you want it to like behave, and the dog is thinking to itself, well, I am behaving. I'm doing, doing all the
I'm
things.
being have.
I'm a puppy. Like,
Exactly.
it's kind of the same. Like if you were to walk into a room with someone who speaks a different language than you, and you're trying to talk to them and they're trying to talk to you, and you're sitting there going, well, I don't know what you're saying.
That's exactly how I lay it out to my clients. I
No
just
clue what
told
you're saying.
somebody yesterday, you're at a party. There's 200 other people at the party, and they all speak ancient Mesopotamian.
Yeah.
You don't.
Right.
And then all of a sudden a trainer comes in who understands dog language and can communicate right with the dog. And the dog's like, oh my God, thank you. So it's like, hey, you want to go to the bar? Now you're going to hang around with that person the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But because you feel so alone in that big crowd of people because nobody understands each other.
Yeah. I always get a big kick when I'm talking to my dog, and like he does that little thing where it like cocks its head at me. Like, I have no clue what you're saying, but I'm going to pretend like I do.
Yeah.
But like I have no clue. And then I'm going to run over there and do something I'm not supposed to.
They pick up keywords. My wife the other a week or so ago, our pit put his feet up on the table while we were eating, and she told him, "Hey, you get out of here. This isn't your food. This is my food. You don't eat my food. You eat your own food. Now go eat your food and leave my food alone." I said, "Cool. You just said food 6 times."
Right.
That's all he heard.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just how you communicate. A lot of their language, most of their language is physical. So I try to utilize that a lot in a bunch of different skills and stuff where I can talk to the dog without using words. And it's pretty wild. It's fun, especially when I'm talking to one dog. We were at the dog park not so long ago, and my dog was way across the field, and I just said her name and then physically called her to me And then she sat when I gave her the cue for that. And I was watching somebody else with a e-collar trying to get their dog back, beeping, and then eventually giving it a stimulus. The dog came back slowly with his head hanging down. When my dog got to me and sat in front of me, I felt something to my left, and there were 3 dogs I don't even know who came over because of the physical things I had did to call my dog over.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, this is effective.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way where the dog is afraid to come to you now.
So, diving into like the training and the, behavioral piece of it,
Sure.
you do puppy starter training. So if you have a pup,
Absolutely.
but you'll also work with dogs who are older and,
Absolutely.
so
Any
is
age.
it ever too late to train
No.
your dog?
No, the old adage that that you can't teach an old dog new tricks is a big lie.
Okay.
I meet dogs
That's what my
all the
husband
time
always
that are
says. She's
older.
too old now to learn
Yeah.
anything. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
No, I've been in houses where I'm teaching a younger dog, 6-7 months old, whatever, and there's another older dog there, 10, 15 years old, whatever. And I'll work with you too. We'll do stuff. Let's do things. I don't want to leave you out. But yeah, you can teach any age whatsoever. Dogs start learning from the time they open their eyes. And if I can take advantage of that, I will. I mean, my collie boxer mix, I met at 4 weeks, and she was ready at 6 weeks. It was a private home with an accident from a neighbor dog. And she was learning and doing things at 6-7 weeks old, no problem at all. That pushed through to her adolescence, and now as an adult, she's strong in all of those skills.
So what does the training kind of look like? What types of training do you, I know like crate training and like teaching them to come when you call them, or like how to do different, what is how does that?
The puppy stuff we start off and we do for the puppies anyways. It's a little different than the adult dogs. But puppies, yeah, we'll crate train if you want. We make it simple and easy for the dog and inviting. Some people find crates, so it's not nice. And if you leave the dog in there 24 hours a day, yes, I agree with that. But leave the crate with the door open for a pup and set it up as you've got your own room. And it's a primal need to den. And most of dogs will be like, yeah, this is my room. And get upset if another dog comes over and comes into their room.
Right.
It's mine. Like, it's claimed. But mouthing, what people would call puppy biting, it's mouthing. I'm teething until I'm 8 months old, so I'm gonna need to chew on things. And we have ways to work with that. Basic physical muscle memory stuff for sitting down and things of that nature. I'm not going to throw a bunch of words at the dog because they're too young for that kind of thing as a pup. I had a 10-week-old black lab yesterday. We were working with, and he's amazing. He's picking stuff up just like a master. Like he's done it before, and he hasn't.
Right.
But older dogs, yeah, it's the basic stuff. I want you to be able to sit and down and stay. Don't run out an open door, things of that nature. Have basically just tempering, getting the dog into a finely tuned device, whatever.
Yeah.
So that you guys they understand each other. That's when you open the door, but also teaching the parents as well that there are certain ways to do certain things. And honestly, most dog training is people training. The dog ran out the door. Well, you open the door wide open with the dog sitting there, didn't communicate anything to the dog. To the dog, going outside is a life reward and a major, major dopamine rush. So yeah, the dog ran out the door. But we can body block. We can do certain things to communicate to the dog without saying anything, that this space is mine and you don't need to go out there.
Right.
We see a lot of lost dogs on Facebook and the local groups, and it's disheartening because it can be prevented. It's easily prevented.
That's one of the things I want to, like I said, my dog is much older, but we still have that issue where we can't just let her run, outside, which is sad because we don't have a lot of neighbors.
Sure.
But if she gets off, when she goes outside, we have a run for her where she goes out and runs around. But, if she were to, sometimes we've had it where the run will break or something, and she's gone. And it takes me and my car driving around, my kids are crying, because the dog's gone forever, we can't find her. But
it's a dangerous situation.
Yeah. So
they don't necessarily pay attention to roads and things if there's a stimulus.
Yeah.
And
so something I wish we had trained her on is how to do that. So knowing that we still potentially can is nice to know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's just
I've got 4. I board every once in a while. I've got some regular boarders for daycare and things like that. But if my dogs are outside, I'm outside.
Yep.
You see a lot of, I see a lot of walking down the road. There's a dog either on an invisible fence or on a fence itself. And the dog's at the fence screaming at you and following and running back and forth and stuff, trying to drive you off. That's a learned behavior. And that's a wonderful physical representation of anxiety. A lot of dogs suffer from that because of that. If you got a young dog out in the front yard and it's yelling and screaming and we do nothing, then all the weight of the world and all that stress and all that anxiety is on their shoulders now. They can't handle it. Over time, that becomes self-rewarding because I can't fathom that whatever is there in my purview has forward momentum. But if I yell at it, it goes away, and I did that. So now that anxiety becomes almost rewarding to the dog, and it just continues and continues and continues. But that's still an anxiety. It's still stress to the dog, and living with stress and anxiety is never a good thing. That means it's more sick, shorter lifespan, and stuff like that. So we try to get the dogs where they can be just calm. I often tell my clients, we talk about even dogs that are reactive towards other dogs or wildlife and things of that nature. In Eastern philosophy, there's an idea that of meditation that I keep moving from the mic because I can't see you.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'll just peek at you over the top.
That being empty and still brings answers. It cut out the noise in your own head, and you can find answers to questions that you had that were always within you, but you may have ignored because of the noise. That the idea that a cup is useful because of the emptiness of that cup. Now I can hold things in there. And I call it with the dogs. If you can sit still in any chaotic situation and not actually be involved in that situation, but still be able to communicate with me and go, wow, look at that over there. I know that's pretty wild, isn't it? I call that just be the cup, be the empty cup, and I love seeing that happen. I mean, even with dogs, breeds that are overly predacious. There's a Vizsla I've been working with on that. And at one time, he would run out the door when he goes outside and he would slam into the fence because there's deer there, just losing his mind.
Yeah. That's how my dog is.
Now he walks out there and he goes, yeah, those are deer.
Yeah.
And he'll creep a little bit and walk closer to them because he knows if he's slow, he won't scare them off. And he sits there and watches, he observes. You look at, that's dangerous. You look at a cheetah on National Geographic. If the video wasn't edited, he's going to sit there and he's going to stalk that herd of gnu or zebra or whatever, and I'm not going to run in there. I might get kicked in the head, and that's dangerous. But I can sit and watch. If they didn't edit that video, that'd be half an hour, 40 minutes of that cheetah just sitting there staring at the herd. And dogs are the same way. It's bringing it back to when we were companions out in the world, hunting all the time and stuff like that. And people say, well, the dogs have always been outside. Yes, but in the past 40 or 50 years, things have changed as far as we're concerned. The early 90s with the internet, 1995 with cell phones, and then social media stuff starting to pop up and things. And the difference is that we were outside with the dogs too, and now we're not.
Yes.
My dogs go outside. I got 5-foot fencing, about 2,300 square feet in a run, and if they're outside, I'm outside. I'm not going to leave them there by themselves because they will get into trouble.
Good. Gravy. That was a lot. I couldn't tell if that was the train coming or thunder mixed in with the train.
Tornado.
There you go.
What that was.
Anti-him.
Whoa. That's crazy.
I don't trust the dogs outside by themselves. Mentally, they're toddlers. I don't care how old the dog is. So you're going to get in trouble. And if you're out there barking at things and stuff like that, I don't want that happening either. So, I refuse to leave my dogs outside by themselves. And when I hear about, like I said, dogs escaping, and it breaks me a little bit because it's avoidable.
Yeah.
I want them all saved.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
So, you do the training, but I was looking on your website earlier. You do so many other things though.
Yeah.
For dogs that I think people should know about. So you've talked a little bit about like daycare.
I'm getting myself ready for an actual daycare.
Yeah. So you're looking
right
at
now.
that.
It's just my clients. If
Right.
I've worked with the dog, we're actually rebuilding the basement for a little daycare center and whatnot, and boarding, so that I can have more than 1 or 2 dogs at the house on top of mine. So,
Yeah.
it's starting to happen a lot now where And I'm getting them stacked up, and I'm like, oh, I don't have the space. I can't do it, and I have to hand them off to somebody else. So, a couple months ago, we decided to make the move and start deconstructing and rebuilding the basement so that I can use it for that, and that goes right out to the run as well, which is nice. So, and I'm putting a shed out there as well for basic training stuff and whatnot. So, yeah, we're gonna grow a little bit.
And then you'll also, and I'm assuming this is like for your clients and stuff as well, but do things like the dog walking or in-home visits.
That's for anybody.
So that's for anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had some staff doing that for me now, but she's in a motherly way now. So
Gotcha.
we are. I'm doing a lot of that myself now as well in the midday, and yeah, I'm getting to the point where I need somebody else at this point as far as that stuff's concerned.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on, and I hate turning people down. So.
Well, and another thing that this is intriguing to me, so I'm gonna
Sure.
ask you. So you also will do transportation?
Yeah.
Like you'll take dogs to like their vet visits
Sure.
and stuff?
Yep. Absolutely.
That's really cool because I know for me, I struggle sometimes like trying to figure out my calendar and like they're like, oh, we need to board the dog. Oh, well, you need to get your boarded tail. You got to get this. You got to get that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, how am I going to? Okay, for one, I'm just going to be honest. My dog cannot stand going and somehow it knows it's going to the vet. I don't know how they know, but they know, or they just know they're going somewhere
if
they
it's
don't like.
If it's a pattern that every time we get in the car, somebody's poking and prodding
Yeah.
me and, things of that nature, then that's what they understand.
Gotcha.
If you haven't done those things where the final destination is fun, yay, we're going to have a good time. They get fun. They like fun.
Yeah.
They're children, they act like kids a lot like what we do, as we get older, we like to play. Well, dogs like to play. We love balls. Look at all of our sports. Dogs love balls. It's like we have so many things in common. Even psychologically, we have a lot of different things in common. But if you change that paradigm where we get in the car and you get poked and prodded, people steal your blood and stuff like that. This is uncomfortable. And just go, and if he's nervous in the car now, just go sit in the car. Just go sit in the car with the dog. Don't even turn it on. And then have some snacks for you, have some snacks for the dog. Sit out there for
A little
10, 15
doggy
minutes.
picnic in the car.
That's it, And then once the dog is comfortable, just seated in the car, then start the car. Just sit there with the car
Yeah.
running. Then that vibration, they're going to feel that. And then just do the same thing for a little while. When the dog is feeling like, this is kind of cool. I get to hang out with my mom. We get to listen to a little bit of cool music and stuff like we're eating snacks. We're breaking bread together. Go on a short trip. Go to McDonald's and grab a burger place and get a plain cheeseburger with nothing on it, just meat, bun, and cheese for the dog. Once a month, that's not going to kill him. Go grab a pup cup. With some whipped cream or ice cream, pup cup someplace. So you make that, we're going out for fun as opposed to necessity.
Okay.
To do something
good
else.
to know.
Because their favorite thing is hanging out with us, and getting our love and adoration and attention. That's,
Yes.
If you live with a dog, that's their favorite thing. Is you.
Oh, mine's favorite thing is to sit on my head. Like as soon as if I'm on the couch, it's like, how close can I get to?
So I'm guessing it's not a mastiff.
No, she's a hound, but she's not she's not. I would say she's a medium-sized dog. She's not like super huge.
Sure.
She's definitely not small. But it's like, how close can I get to sitting on my mom's head?
Yeah.
Before she'll push me, be like, get off, But then, of course, that tongue is always licking, all over the place.
I got a 2-year-old pet.
It's funny.
Talk about needy.
Yeah.
I need constant affirmation. I'm a good boy. Yes, you are.
Yes.
I'm happy to give it to you.
So would you say I know there's a lot of people that go and they'll get their pups or their dogs from like the shelter, from the Humane Society or from different places. It would probably be a good idea for them to contact you at that point and just be like, do you do like an assessment? Can you bring puppies, of course, I'm not going to have any training, but like, can someone bring like a dog to you and you can kind of see like what you're working with there? Like how, have they had any training prior?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the first thing we do. We do a meet and greet. And I actually go to you.
Okay.
I don't have the dogs come to me. I'd rather work with a dog, especially a newly adopted dog. I'd rather work with them in their own environment. Because they're comfortable there and they're going to be honest. You take a dog out of where their comfort zone is, and they're going to behave differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see the dog exactly how he feels or
Yeah.
she feels in their own environment. And I could pick up on things in the environment as well that may be causing issues. but just that I want them to be comfortable when we meet.
Yeah.
So that we can build that relationship. And yeah, I want to see what the dog knows. I'll ask people to do different things and see what the dog knows. I'll do different things with the dog, and then we'll sit down and discuss your needs as far as the dog's training is concerned, and put together a program specifically for you and the dog. And then we just have to choose how we're going to do that.
One of the reasons I asked that question is I see a lot of posts sometimes on social media where, a Humane Society has posted like, oh, this dog got adopted, like, yay, dog's adopted. And then like a week later or so you see, well, the dog is back because he
Revolving
didn't
door.
fit in well with the family and I wondered if something like this could help alleviate some of that, because I'm sure there are potentially issues with the pup. I mean, some of, there may be some that it's definitely just not a good fit.
No,
like,
you're 100%.
potentially.
You're 100%.
But,
Yeah.
is there also some potential where it could be rectified? It could be just a case of learning your dog and how it works with you, like you were saying, and what would be that best strategy?
And I don't want to say anything bad about the rescues. I love the rescues. But I think a lot of times that more could be done to know the dog and let the potential new human know the dog and who they are and what their special needs may or may not be, and then what kind of environment are they going to. I just had a couple recently with pits. For some reason, pits are handled with a harder hand a lot of times, and shelter pits are often fear, aggression,
Right.
a lot of anxiety and fear. They love you, they want to come up and see you, but then when they get to you and they go, hey, you're too close, and they're afraid to turn around and move away. So I got to teach them things like that. But dog with that kind of high anxiety of people, stressful environments, think downtown in the city and stuff like that's a stressful environment to me. It's a stressful environment to a dog. And they have to be attuned to that. And I've seen a couple recently that were adopted out and in situations where they were never going to be able to get better. And I was just like, this is a fail from the beginning, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's already done. And that bugs me a little bit. Just communicating more to the people as far as what the dog's issues may be and what things they've seen, but also knowing where the dog is going and going, I just don't think this is going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
I want to get my facility open sometime in the next few years and take on those kinds of rescues and stuff. But I'm not going to be easy to get through, just to get rid of the dog.
Right. Yeah.
I want the dog in the right headspace, because it's not going to help anybody if the dog, gets too much anxiety and too much stress and ends up doing something stupid that isn't necessarily his or her own fault, and has to pay the price for it.
Yeah.
That's just not fair to the dog. And I'm going to advocate for the dog before the human every single time.
Yeah. So what areas do you service? Like, what are your service areas for anyone listening that may have a pup that they want to have you come out and
last
train?
week I got a couple clients right now in Madison Heights. Last week I was out in Amherst, Smith Mountain Lake. I generally have a 15-mile distance, and then we add on $5 for every 10 miles after that. But I'll go wherever you need me to go.
Okay.
I mean, even in the transportation stuff, if I'm looking at wedding attendant for dogs as well. So I mean, but if it's out of town, well, man, we'll travel, and I'll take your dog there and everything, and private comfort, air conditioned ride and everything. There's gonna be a per diem, things of that nature. But, whatever you need.
Okay.
I mean, I don't list it on there. I even have a free service where if I know your dog and we've worked together and stuff, and you get to the last stage of end of life and stuff, and you're kind of freaked out by it and scared and not knowing what to do, I'll come and help you. I'll walk you through it. That's the one time they desperately need you to be there, and a lot of people get scared and don't want to be in the room. It's like, I'll hold your hand, man. I won't even charge it. I'll drop whatever I'm doing and I'll be there.
You almost made me cry right now.
It's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
I've been, for the past 3 years in my home, I've been running a geriatric home. And in the past 3 years, I've lost off 5 of those that I've had for the past 15 years or so. And yeah, it never gets easier. I just lost my last one, the end of an era, on New Year's morning. And it's, but as hard as it was, and I just woke up, I held him and talked to him, and and guided him through, told him his watch was done and he could carry on and do what he needed to do. You know, and I'll see you soon, buddy. You know, so that's what they need. You know, they need that so much. So yeah, I start from birth to the end of life as far as dogs are concerned, and whatever you need done.
So how can somebody get a hold of you? What's the best way for them to contact you if they are interested in, having you come out and just, checking out the services?
You can fill out the new client form on the website at dogdayspetservices.com. You can give me a call at 540-525-5916, or if you don't like calling, you can text me. We're talking here.
Yeah, excuse us, Shane. We're trying to give out some important information.
Or you can text me if you're not fond of the phone, and I'll answer as fast as I possibly can. If I'm driving, I won't. But through Facebook Messenger, we have a Facebook page, or Instagram. I have an Instagram account. Pretty much whatever, smoke signals, I'll look for them. Whatever you got, I'll do it.
All right.
I'm pretty easy.
So I'll ask you the question we ask all of our guests. How long have you been a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
It's been like since Tuesday. No.
Just yesterday.
A few months. No, a month or so.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months.
Yeah. But I've known you for 20-some years. So when I found this, I was like, I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. I have known Ron for quite a while. And so what do you, and I know we're just kind of getting started, but what do you see as like one of the benefits that you are most excited to utilize, or what you see as a good benefit?
The advertising.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, this kind of stuff is great. I love to talk. Obviously, if this was a 3-hour show, we could just keep on going.
We could keep going.
Yeah, it would never end. Like the last guest said, I mean, I've been in different groups and things of that throughout the years, and I don't know, it's just a personal, touch to this that you just don't get. And I'd love to make it out to the coffee talks and all the other things. I've got them all on my calendar, but then I got to bring like a dozen dogs.
Bring some dogs with you.
So.
That actually might work. That would be awesome.
We could do it.
Well, thank you for joining me today. And for any of those, for some reason, if like the train was loud and you did not, catch Ron's information, you can go to cvabc.org. We do have our member directory there. I encourage you, any of our episodes that you are listening in on and you want some information about somebody we've talked to, or you want to just see who our members are, who are local businesses you can support in our area, you can do that at our website, cvabc.org. Our member directory is there for you to utilize at all times. So I will not be here next week. So I will miss talking local to you. But Mike will be back, and we hope that you will tune in and listen to our guests next week, or go back and check us out on grovestreet.fm. Check out past episodes. If you're just, like I said, just tuning in, we have had, I don't know, Woody, what are we sitting at now episode wise? Like,
oh man, we're closing in on 200. I think.
Yeah, I think we're getting on up there. Definitely check us out. And thank you again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week.